Nice to be back among some more familiar faces. Perfect. So we're going from the field level right up to 10,000. We're going to talk about Canadian Airlines for net zero. So this is the initiative that started in October. Especially I joined in the middle of January. So relatively new to the role, and the working perspective, but we're quickly ramping up staff. And I'll tell you a little bit about it here. It started with these companies here, and just notice that there's a broad range of companies that are vertically integrated from the farm level, all the way up to grocers, to Nutrient, which is a huge crop input supplier, biggest one in the world, and a bank, which is fun. So what drew me into this job, one of the reasons why I said yes, was of this group, this diverse group of, and I haven't been in the agricultural world nearly as long as some of you, but I've been here long enough to know that this is unique when you get so many diverse figures like this around the table, where the executive committee of CANZA are the CEOs that goes right down to the organizations to drive what they're calling net zero agriculture in climate. So looking at really driving down the emissions and the opportunity for some sequestration in agriculture in their supply chains. So I said, this is something that could get really interesting, especially if we get farmer food. When I had my first interview, I asked that question, how are farmers get involved? And they said, not yet. So this is month, I just started my second month, and 9 of these weeks I've been to crop farmer conferences in those 2 months of farm. So I'm glad this is only a 30-minute drive because I've been to Winnipeg 3 times. So this whole idea comes from the fact that it's small thing up here, but there needs to be an urgent collaboration. All these companies have net zero targets. The reason is they need to draw down the emissions in their supply chains. In the companies, there's scope 1 emission, but also there's scope 3 emissions, which is where the product comes from. They're interested in that from a reporting perspective because it increases their profitability on things like Wall Street. Let's be perfectly honest, right? It also means that if they can draw down their emissions and we can mitigate climate heating, they're going to have to not redistribute their supply chains and supply chains. And if you're taking a supply chain from here and translating it to here, you're talking about a big company that can drop a lot of money. They don't want to have to spend. The second part of this, from your perspective, with farm management, so keep organic matter important with soil. And you know this, and you do this, and it's something that is now being valued by people. So there's an opportunity to understand what that means, and we have cheerleaders to help us do that. And this is where there's a big opportunity for collaboration from finance sector, the grocery sector, and everybody down the chain to where the food's grow. This is what CANZA is trying to do, is we harness that collaborative power and figure out where there are solutions. Well, we started this second ago. In a couple of ways, but one of the major ways, fundamental ways that we don't have established yet in Canada is a way to report, measure, and verify this in a way that is acceptable to the global base. So understanding how you can actually say, yes, I put X carbon into the soil, and I know this because it can be verified and reported that way. So they can take that up to their supply chain and you can get some sort of balance. So this is kind of what the goal this is what CANZA is trying to enable. We're doing this in 3 different tranches. And the first one is through policies. So understanding how can we influence government and industry organizations and associations to build policy environment that's conducive to this. Whether it's through things like ITC, so investment tax credits for biodigesters, or whether it's through different regulatory actions preventing from it from innovating. Those are the kind of things that we're looking at and talking about. Innovative technologies. So when we're talking about measuring things on farm, we all have one of these on farm. And is there a way that we can figure out how to use a proxy for solar farming. Your smartphones affected. Pretty high def cameras. We don't know. We're working toward we have groups of people from the University of Guelph and Saskatchewan looking at this right now. The third one is enabling market conditions. So say there's something there that the end users want. There's something that farmers are needing. There needs to be value transferred. And it's not only being valued by those end users that are using it in the reporting, it's also being used by society because we as a public benefit when the climate doesn't cause, 10 inches of rain in 5 hours. So there are many different ways that we can enable these market conditions. And we're just at the very start of this journey, but these are the different buckets that I'm trying to pour out and understanding where we get to the bottom of it. I don't have a lot of time, but I want to highlight these 2 videos. So if you go to YouTube, go to CANZA. Christian Eber is a farmer out in Saskatchewan that we've been working with on some pilots. Amazing farmer, great guy. No regrets kind of style. Let's go out there and try some stuff. Found a lot of you in the room. I know from past experiences. But these 2 videos show what CANZA is trying to do. We give a good background of the initial projects that we're doing on farm. One of the things that he's highlighting is this climate smart farming initiative. The other piece we're working on is this national biodigester. And understand how can we take advantage of both of these initial tranches of opportunity around climate. So I'll dive in real briefly to 2 of them. The first one on climate smart agriculture is around that measurement part of their application. How can we figure out how to do this in a way that works for farmers? Right now it's really expensive. Takes a lot of time, takes a lot of tech that most farmers don't. So we started out with this hypothesis of an opportunity to get there and to build a cost-effective MRV, model it out across different regimes in Canada. What this means from the profitability impact with the current carbon system, and then what do we need to do to make that a condition that actually works. So right now we're validating the research. We are engaging the economic modeling right now in the farm in Saskatchewan. And we're looking at opportunities to expand this out. So what that means is if we're looking at farms in Manitoba and Alberta and Ontario, different groups that want to take this and say, let's test out what we're doing here from the MRV perspective. See what it does with these types of farmers and these types of soils. Want something that can be repetitive, thing you can lift and you can shift. And it can work for all those names on the screen and wherever your product ends up. Where we are right now is we're looking ahead a couple of weeks, hopefully, to have that predictive model from the imagery out, understand where that baseline zone mapping is, and some of the basic cost savings that we're seeing in the initials. Unofficially, we're looking at modifying the methodology for testing soil organic carbon, saving about 30% time and about 40% off the existing model, without using the robustness necessary to trap carbon in the system. That's what we found out in sort of this 1 year pilot. These are the results we need to check in other places to make sure we have a lead bit to see how it can work across Canada. And I realize I'm going really fast, but I try to get you guys back on time. The second one's around biodigesters. A lot of you probably know a lot of this, but I mean, biodigesters and an animal perspective on farm are used to slash and net emissions. There's an opportunity to boost rural income. There's an opportunity to look at renewable natural gas that comes out of them and offset some of the carbon producing products that we are using now for energy. It can impact our 2030 goals. There are also other things around circular economy and potentially disease control. Because now you put digestive back in the field where you couldn't put relevant science. So there's some benefits there from a risk avoidance perspective that a lot of governments are actually really interested in. So what we're doing is, well, these are all our priorities. They're supposed to be number 1 to 4. But we're looking at 4 different approaches. And one is really looking at innovative tax credits and other regulatory issues, preventing farmers from putting biodigesters out in certain places or different economic models. We had a couple of emails and calls with Deputy Prime Minister's office about this existing budget this year already to look at a national level, how can we influence this? Along groups like the Canadian Biogas Association and others. The other option is the other three things are more on the ground. So looking at taking all those resources we have and and understanding how we can build a farmer support center so that if you folks want to build a biodigester in Ontario, what does that look like? Where can we glean all that research from? How do we know what has worked, what hasn't worked, what technology could work? What kind of economic model do you use? Is this one small with that have a hub and spoke model? Is this one big giant thing that stuff needs to get trucked into? What does the organization look like? What's the business metrics look like? And then building a tech fund to look at all of these companies that are going to benefit from this down the line, gas groups that are lowering their next to them. How can they do it? Where can they maybe be that source of funds to try to keep this some kind of initial investment? So I realize all this stuff is it's very high level, and right now I'm just talking to you. But I was told, and specifically in that first meeting, that if we don't do anything, then we're just going to cut them. So they're very much the attitude that this CANZA here to, excuse me, but get shit done, not just talk about doing stuff and talk about what's doing. It's about saying, let's buy new things, let's put some money on the problem and enhance it. So we're really trying to drive things forward at speed. That's a very quick overview of what CANZA is. I don't have a lot to show you right now, but hopefully next week we chat in the fall and maybe next spring. We'll have some more to talk about. And before then, I'd like to talk to some emails to see what needs from a biodigester or from a biomass perspective to be able to engage. Because I know for a long time since we started this journey, we see but all of the great carbon has been stored below ground. And there's an opportunity here where there may be a value to that we can get. Whether it's a monetary value, whether it's a market value, whatever that looks like, I think it's worth exploring. That's my high level pitch, and we'll be seeing you around this part of the day. Thanks.